Hello and welcome to my garage, or my man cave, or my craft room, or my room in the house that's a catch-all for everything that nobody knows what else to do with, but we don't want to give it away, or we just have a spot we need to put it somewhere until we figure out what we're going to do with it, or we just put it in the garage and wait for it to collect enough dust and I get tired and I just throw everything away. Welcome to that room. If you have one of those rooms, let me know. I don't think I'm the only one that has one of those rooms. So today's going to be a little bit of a different video. We're not going to focus on any particular wrestling promotion. We're not going to an event or anything like that. We're going to go through an unboxing, basically. A while back, I was talking to one of our regulars at the restaurant that I manage, and we were talking about this, that, and the other, and his kids and my kids, and what we like, what we don't like, things like that. He said he's cleaning out some stuff, and he's got a bin of professional wrestling stuff. That was just one of the things that he and I talked about, because his kids were into it. He was bigger into it way back in the day. My kids are into it now, so we talked about it, and he says, you know what? Because when I get to that bin, he goes, I don't know where it is right now, but I know I've got it. When I get to that bin, I'll bring it into you. I said, okay, no big deal. Didn't really think anything of it. Well, he brought it to me the other day. And let me just show you what this bin looks like. So this is the bin that he brought. It is extremely heavy. It is a relatively decent sized bin. So in the bin, he's not really sure exactly what is in there. He just said it's probably magazines from the 70s, maybe 70s, probably 80s, maybe a little bit into the 90s. All kinds of different professional wrestling magazines. Because there might be comics in there. There may be Playboy or other dirty magazines in there. He goes, I don't really know. Because whatever you want to do with it, you can do with it. Just get it out. So let's go see what's in here. First thing, Transformer comics. And if you guys know anything about any of these comics that I pull out, or wrestling magazines, or if you're interested in them, let me know. I don't know much about these things, but I'm gonna find out. Pro Wrestling Illustrated from April of 1991. Okay. Oh, look, Ric Flair. This is February 1988 from The Wrestler magazine. This one is wrestling from Sports Review Wrestling from December 1985. WWF magazine. I know for a fact they don't even make these anymore. Batman. 2, 3, and 4. Ooh, this one says, Robin finds his mother, and waiting is the Joker planning a revenge that is swift, violent, terrible. Can Robin survive? Doo-doo-doo.
A few moments later. A few moments later. A few moments later.
After everything has been sorted and laid out over here, let's kind of get an idea of what we have. Let's see. We've got Beauties of Wrestling. We have 2 WCW magazines, and this is from, when is this from? July 1992. Wrestling Eye magazine from February 1986. Victory Sports Wrestling, and these are just what's on top. Winter 1985. Wrestling World, August 86. Wrestling's Main Event, October of 84. The Hulkster on WWF magazine, February, March 1986. PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, from August of 85. Sports Review Wrestling from March of 1986 with Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes from Starrcade 85. Probably one of the best matches of all time right here, covered in this magazine. We've got Wrestling Superstars, and this one is from summer 1985. This one is just Wrestling 91, and they're all different years. This is summer from 1991. Wrestling USA from spring 1985. The Wrestler magazine, another Hulk Hogan. I wonder how many Hulk Hogans we have in here. September 1985. Wrestling's Main Event Action Photo Album. Don't know what's in that one. What is this one? This is Inside Wrestling from September 1981. Look at the price on there, $1.25. I'm gonna have to eBay some of these things. The 25-year anniversary of the Wrestler magazine from October of 1991. And in this pile here, these are just random ones that are like ones or twos. Ringside, wrestling posters, TV wrestlers, Wrestling World. There's a 2 or 3 of those Wrestling Worlds in here. What else do we have in here? Championship Wrestling. Again, Dusty Rhodes. Oh, and that's Hawk. So now that they're all organized into title, now I'm going to sort them by date, chronologically, to see what we actually have. From there, I'll create a spreadsheet of everything that we have. Go to eBay, find out what they're selling for, if they're selling. However, if anybody watching this, if you know anything about these things, let me know, because I know this process is going to take a while. But I wanted to get this up here, and I wanted to get this out to see if anybody knew anything about any of these magazines, any of their value, anything that they're worth. If you do, definitely drop a comment, because I'm really interested in what these things can be worth. I know there's seems to be a lot of them with Hulk Hogan, a lot of them with Ric Flair, a lot of them with Dusty Rhodes, the Road Warriors. These are all the foundation, what I would call the foundation, because it's what I grew up with on the wrestling side of things. So let's figure out what we have, and then we'll take it from there. So these two magazines, we've got WCW magazine June of 1992 and WCW July of 1992. We're going to do a quick eBay search on each of those two, and I'm going to put it over here on the screen to the right, and you'll see what these two magazines are coming up with. So it looks like the June of 1992, that's like 30. People are asking like $30, and I got to go back and look at everything. And then the Sting one from July of 1992, that one's about $18. So between these two, you're looking about $50 right there, if they get the asking price. So let's see. I mean, but look at who's on here. You've got Ricky Steamboat, Sting, Barry Windham, The Natural Dustin Rhodes, Nikita Koloff. You have some great, iconic wrestlers here. Sting was always my favorite guy growing up. So look at just the history that we have here. As I'm going through here and looking at all these things, I know for a fact there's not full years of everything. At least it doesn't seem that so far. I might have, if something comes out quarterly, I might have spring, summer. I might just have fall and winter. I don't know. I don't have everything. I know that for a fact. But the simple fact that I do have some of these old school ones. Are you a collector? If you're a collector, then subscribe, like my channel. Let's talk about some of these things. I need to know what value, if there is a value in any of these things. I don't know what all we have. I will go through everything and see if I can publish a list of everything that I do have, and we'll take it from there, because I know it's going to be a while. At this point, I've got 69 listed. So I've got 69 different magazines listed, gone through, and they're averaging about $10. Some are 20. One of them is $65. And these are what has been sold. These are not what's listed. I'm not looking at what is available. So of those 69 that I've done, we're looking that sold right about $800 so far. So that's, we're averaging over $10 a magazine right now. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is selling them in blocks. For example, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 8 of these wrestler magazines. I'll sell all 8, $75 or something like that. But this is a long process, but it's going to be worth it in the end. But the cool thing is that I'm going back and reliving some of my childhood memories. I remember some of these matches that they're talking about on the covers, and also these are sometimes the only way that you got to see things that were in different territories. Or the magazines covered the territories, so that's how you got to see it. We didn't have USA networks and TNT networks and all these things. We didn't have the TV shows all the time, and sometimes you only got what was in your area. So this is the magazines were classic ways to see what was going on in other territories and other parts of the country. This is the stack of all the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which I have yet to go through. I'm getting ready to go through that, but we're sitting at about $185 and roughly $2,000. Where am I at there? Yeah, roughly $2,000 that are sold on eBay. That showed what they're sold for. After taking 5-6 hours, I don't know how long it took exactly, to input all of the magazines, separate them all by title, then separate them by year, and within a month and the year, and all that other stuff, came out to 260 different magazines. On average, like I said, on average, they're still about $10, so it totaled about $2,900, based on what they were sold for on eBay. Some of them I could not find. Some of them I just were not on there, were not listed on there. So I estimated about $7 for those, just to be on the safe side. Now comes the fun part of taking the pictures and listing them. Now that all the magazines are put together, they're going to be sold. We're going to put them all out there. If you're interested in that, or you're interested in the history of wrestling, this is a timeline of wrestling and how it was back in the day. This is the predecessor for what was going on today. Granted, there are great storylines going on right now in professional wrestling here in 2024, but they were all set up by what's going on in these magazines. So we're going to take these magazines, we're going to get them into the right hands. Now, yes, I'm a history buff. Yes, I am a nerd. But I've got too much stuff. So if you're interested in these things, if you know anybody that is interested in them, hit me up. Send me a message on here. Comment below. And we'll figure out a way to get them to you. These things will be perfect for anybody that's going to any of these wrestling conventions where all these stars are going around now and signing autographs. I hope you guys enjoy professional wrestling like I do, like I grew up on. Subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about wrestling. And even if the big time professional wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA, MLW, even if they're not coming to your area, support your local wrestling, because only you can prevent empty wrestling arenas.